I know that without him, my dream would have stayed just that, a dream. Instead, it went from a dream to a challenge to reality and now to a business, all thanks to a man who was willing to believe. One often needs ideas from outside one's world to go and create in exciting new ways. Together, we achieve something neither of us could do alone. Yehuda's personal insight working with me. Working with him has been a tremendous experience. As a CEO of Yale Designs, I've collaborated with other prominent jewelers over the years, but knew him only from his wide reputation as a legendary gem cutter. For 2 years, I've dreamt about creating a piece where one gemstone would be set inside another, but when I approached other people with the idea, they laughed in my face. Then I finally reached out to him. I knew that if he couldn't do it, no one could. To my surprise and relief, instead of saying my dreams was impossible, he got excited about my idea and said that it would be a challenge that he wanted to take on. In the jewelry industry, there are a lot of people who do the talk, so I tend to be skeptical when working with new people. But when we set out to work together, he turned out to be both extremely knowledgeable and modest. He patiently taught me things I didn't know about gems and walked me through every step of developing our vision. There was a lot of synergy and back and forth between us as we made the piece. In fact, in the process of working together, we came up with a new idea that took the stone idea even further into a totally new experiment with color reflection. I think the best outcome of any collaboration is when a new idea is born because of it. It is rare that you can combine a grand vision with an equally grand skill set, but that's exactly what we found in our partnership. Together, him and I created the first ever piece of jewelry where one stone is set inside another. We called it Sentience, and it received a lot of attention in the jewelry industry. It also turned out to be the beginning of a longer partnership. After working so well on the first piece, we decided to turn this new jewelry making technology into a whole patented collection. I know that without him, my dream would have stayed just that, a dream. Instead, it went from a dream to a challenge to reality and now to a business, all thanks to a man who was willing to believe. The art of the late Gordon Attell. My personal insight into working with the late Gordon. The late Gordon was one of those designers who came to me early in my career. He immediately showed appreciation for my work when many other designers could admire it, but not commit to working with my stones. This was not so with Gordon. He is another one of those old world craftsmen who had a tremendous command of the skills that is required from a classically trained goldsmith. Though Gordon was trained in old world skills, his designs are far from vintage in look. He was a very versed designer aside from his skills as a metalsmith. His work is very modern and elegantly original in concept. There are great designers who have others execute the actual work, and there are great goldsmiths who are not that talented in designing. Gordon not only could design artistically, but create the work par excellence all on his own. It's unique to see both skills in one person. From the get-go, we hit the ground running together back in the early 90s. His designs with my tourist ring cut was immediately a marriage made in heaven. He was one of those designers who immediately fell in love with the tourist ring cut, and others were still standing on the sidelines. I can emphatically state that designers like Gordon put my tourist ring cut on the radar of the jewelry industry and the public at large. His clients just went crazy for our joint work. Together, our collaborative work has been shown on the cover of national trade magazines and major museum exhibitions. His eye for detail was amazing. Sometimes the simplest looking designs are actually the most complicated to pull off. His designs were minimal in appearance, but complicated in concept. His work had a refined architectural appearance and beauty to it, simple but complicated, a really hard ability to pull off. This was Gordon. My stones and his designs just melded perfectly together. Though he has passed on, his family continues to work with my stones and many of the designs Gordon molded for production. We would sit together and co-create in so many creative ways for hours on end. It was Gordon who first inspired me to create the eclipse cut Taurus ring design that made it to the cover of a lapidary journal. I miss working with him along with his gentle nature.